Welcome to HackGear, where we decode cybersecurity and the cognitive battle space and break it down to what really matters.
Today, we're embarking on a crucial deep dive. It's a topic that really affects everyone's digital life. We're looking at how the massive amounts of data stolen in these big cyber breaches, well, it's not just about financial fraud anymore. It's actively being used for sophisticated microtargeting, even doxing. So our mission today is to kind of unpack the connections between your digital footprint, powerful algorithms, and, the shadowy world of information warfare.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how data points that seem totally unrelated, how they get aggregated. When you put them together, they create these incredibly detailed profiles that can be used to influence people or target individuals with, like, surgical precision. The genius and maybe the terror is in connecting things you wouldn't expect. Your favorite coffee shop, maybe some niche online forum you visit, a minor medical record, stitch those together, and suddenly it reveals not just who you are, but your emotional triggers, your weak spots, maybe even your daily routine. It's really more than just profiling. It's like building a digital twin that's easy to manipulate. And that's where your privacy gets tangled up directly with national security.
That link between privacy and national security, that's huge. To really get that, we need to understand the basics first. What exactly is this personally identifiable information, or PII, and why is collecting it such a massive issue right now?
Okay, so PII. It's basically anything that can identify you as an individual. Your name, social security number, birth date, even biometric stuff like fingerprints or facial scans. But it goes further. It includes linked info to medical history, financial data, or you've worked. The tricky part now with, all the internet and mobile tech is that companies like Facebook and Google have effectively become huge data brokers. They gather enormous amounts of this PII, and sometimes we haven't really given explicit consent, or maybe we don't understand what we agreed to. This has created what people call surveillance capitalism. Human experience itself becomes raw data, harvested for insights. And as we're seeing, it's used for way more than just ads.
And it's definitely not just the big tech companies, right? Data breaches feel almost normal now across every single sector: banking, healthcare, even government. Back in 2017, there were over 1,000 breaches, exposing more than 1 billion records. And looking at just 2024, 2025, it's relentless. You've got McLaren Healthcare, Ascension Health for America, millions of patient records gone, social security numbers, birth dates, names, insurance info. Then there's LexisNexis Risk Solutions, Norton Healthcare, millions more affected there, PII gold mines. Even government data isn't safe. Remember the Department of Transport breach? 237,000 U.S. government employees hit. It's not just the sheer number, it's the kind of sensitive data flowing into these underground markets.
Exactly. And these cyber black markets, they're thriving. They sell the tools to launch attacks, and they sell the stolen data itself. You can find anything: credit card details, account logins, really personal PII, even PHI-protected health information, your medical stuff. It's a huge marketplace. Prices vary depending on how fresh the data is, how sensitive it is. Like a new U.S. credit card might sell for, say, $15. A European one, maybe $120. Interestingly, sometimes stolen social media accounts like Twitter are worth more than credit cards.
Really? Why is that?
Because those credentials can unlock other accounts the person uses, maybe access their contact lists. It's a launchpad for more attacks.
Wow, that market structure is something else. Okay, so the data's stolen, it's on the market. Who are the main players buying and using this stuff? Is it all just about money? Or are there different groups with totally different agendas?
Oh, very different agendas. We usually break down the threat actors into about 4 main categories. You've got your cyber terrorists, hacktivists who are often politically motivated, state-sponsored actors, and then cyber criminals. Now, sometimes their methods overlap, even their targets might overlap a bit, but their core reasons, very different. Cyber criminals, mostly after money. They want to cash in on that data through identity theft, tax fraud, selling logins, you name it. State-sponsored actors, though, they're usually much more sophisticated. They work for a government, advancing national interests. They generally don't sell the data openly. Instead, they use it for espionage, for building detailed profiles on people, for long-term strategic campaigns.
Okay, that's the critical distinction. So let's connect those dots now. How does this raw, stolen data names, addresses, maybe health info actually turn into a weapon to target specific people?
Well, take stolen credentials, like usernames and passwords. They're perfect for phishing campaigns. Attackers get access to contact lists, making their fake emails or messages look way more legitimate. Or think about credit report data addresses, birth dates, social security numbers. Combine that, and you have a full kit for identity theft. opening new credit cards, loans. You can even use that info to create custom dictionaries to try and crack someone's other passwords. But the use that worries people most, especially from state actors, is building what's called an extraordinarily sensitive PII profile. That's used for follow-on targeting. Espionage, basically. Look at the OPM breach Office of Personnel Management back in 2014. That exposed records for up to 21.5 million people. Federal employees, contractors. It included social security numbers, passport numbers, birth dates, detailed info on where they lived, worked, even background check information. That kind of super-sensitive PII. It's gold for state-sponsored groups. It lets them build incredibly detailed files on potential intelligence targets. They can figure out weaknesses, vulnerabilities, things to exploit. It's not just about knowing facts. It's about predicting behavior.
And OPM wasn't an isolated incident, was it? We saw similar huge impacts from the Anthem breach, 80 million people affected there, and Equifax in 2017. Personal info for, nearly 150 million users stolen. When you think about all these breaches together, the cumulative effect must be massive, especially if the same bad actors are gathering data from multiple places.
Precisely. The aggregation is where the potential for harm just explodes. Imagine an actor combining credit report data from Equifax, health data from Anthem, maybe security clearance info from OPM.
Wow.
And maybe even getting hold of travel records somehow. Suddenly, they have this incredibly complete picture of a target. Their habits, where they go, their vulnerabilities, financial, personal, maybe even medical. That allows for really sophisticated micro-targeting, or even physical targeting, like knowing where someone will be at a certain time to arrange a quote-unquote accidental meeting.
Like building a digital ghost of someone. That's a chilling way to put it. Every data point adds another brushstroke until the picture's complete and exploitable. It really is chilling. So, okay, let's bring this down to the everyday person listening. What does this all mean for us, for our daily digital lives? How does this data collection actually show up in things like microtargeting or doxing that affects regular people?
Well, micro-targeting is all about sending messages tailored to individuals to influence how they act. It started innocently enough, businesses trying to reach customers more effectively.
Yeah.
But it's morphed into this powerful disinformation tool. Some even call it a form of mass population control. Remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal?
Maybe, yeah. Facebook data.
Exactly. They got data from like 87 million Facebook users. And they use psychographics, things like personality traits, values, attitudes, to send incredibly specific political messages. Their former CEO even bragged about using dirty tricks, prostitutes, bribery, honey traps for opposition research against politicians.
Right.
The scale of using psychological profiles like that is really disturbing.
That's way beyond just targeted ads. So how does that connect to doxing, where someone's private info gets dumped online publicly?
This whole environment makes doxing incredibly precise and easy. There was this study by some Harvard undergrads, actually. It was quite revealing. They combined information they found on the dark web with a commercially purchased Experian database. And just with that, they identified nearly 1,000 high-net-worth individuals in Washington, D.C. We're talking senators, representatives, the mayor, even a cabinet member. They found credit scores, phone numbers, home addresses, even usernames or passwords allegedly used on cheating websites.
Oh.
That's doxing on a massive scale, using data that's essentially just out there, commercially available, pieced together.
That really drives home how this data gets weaponized. It's not just theoretical. Beyond doxing, what other ways is this info being used against people?
Well, social engineering tactics rely heavily on this kind of data. Attackers gather personal details, professional info, social media activity, public records, everything they can find to craft believable attacks. You hear about pretexting? That's where they make up a fake scenario, like pretending to be IT support to trick you into giving up info.
Right.
Or whaling, that's like spear phishing, but aimed specifically at high-profile targets like CEOs or senior managers using very personalized research. We've seen reports of foreign agents targeting, say, missile systems operators for digital blackmail, or orchestrating online harassment campaigns, like against that staff sergeant falsely accused of being patient zero in a pandemic. And now, with AI and deepfakes getting better, imagine using stolen voice data or images to create fake audio or video for phishing. It gets even more convincing.
Scary potential there. And specific groups are really mastering these techniques, aren't they? Like that group, Scattered Spider.
Yeah, they're a good example. They're known for being really good at social engineering. They use things like MFA fatigue, just bombarding you with login approval requests, hoping you'll slip up and hit approve it.
Annoying, but effective, I guess.
Or SIM swapping. They trick your phone company into switching your number to their phone.
And then they control everything linked to that number.
Exactly. bank accounts, emails. They're always adapting their tactics to steal data, usually for extortion.
Okay, the stakes are clearly enormous. So, for you listening right now, what's the big takeaway for your own digital privacy? It feels like maybe one small breach doesn't matter, but altogether, it's a different story.
It absolutely is. And this brings up a really crucial point. Your domestic digital privacy. It is fundamentally a national security issue. Think about the current online advertising economy. It runs on collecting massive amounts of data. That whole system isn't just a place for commerce anymore. It's become an attack space. There's just so much individual identifiable data available commercially with almost zero real oversight on the tech companies collecting it, which means anyone, including adversaries of the U.S., can potentially buy data about you. When you think about it, the goal of surveillance capitalism advertising and the goal of information warfare, they're actually the same. Influence an individual's behavior to achieve someone else's goals.
That's unsettling, especially when you hear about studies showing how few people even know they've been part of a breach. Like that one finding 74% of people were unaware data breaches had affected them. If you don't even know, how can you possibly take steps to protect yourself? That lack of awareness, plus maybe a feeling that, oh, it won't really impact me, it leaves people wide open.
And that ability to target messages so precisely, it undermines national security. It erodes public trust in institutions. We're living in a time where if you make a trend, you make it true. And that truth can be custom built to manipulate specific groups or individuals. Plus, a lot of the information stolen in these breaches, social security numbers, birth dates, it's permanent. You can't just change it like a password. So the risks aren't temporary. They stick around for a long, long time. It's not just about getting a new credit card. It's core identity information that's out there forever. So here's something to really think about. Given how pervasive this data collection is, how sophisticated the attackers are getting, and how easily they can get stolen PII, how do we, individuals, governments, everyone, actually build an effective defense? Especially when the very systems built for online commerce are the same ones being weaponized against us.
That's a heavy question to end on. Thanks for listening right through to the end. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to HackGear. And as always, stay curious, stay critical,